What it do, my MCOC crew? This is Damn Epic, back with a video that honestly I've been procrastinating and putting off for like the past week. You may notice like the activity on my channel has gone down quite a bit, and I really wanted to talk about this new rating system that Kabam is coming out with, because it's a very, very serious thing that I feel that if handled in the wrong way will honestly, in my opinion, kill MCOC and definitely stop my whaling out at least of Cavalier crystals in the game. Now, I want to lay out a quick disclaimer before I get into anything else. The words in this video are based on my own thoughts and opinions and should not be used as any sort of advice on what you do with your gaming experience in MCOC. These are my own thoughts that resulted from my own personal circumstance, feelings, and progressions in this MCOC video game. If you enjoy doing something, please continue to do it. Now, before I get into why the rating system is a terrible idea in my opinion, and why I feel it'll potentially kill the game, let me discuss why I buy Cavalier crystals and why recently I haven't. Why do I buy Cav crystals? Well, I buy Cavs to acquire a champ that I feel will benefit my roster for the following reasons: completing content, or for offensive and defensive purposes in Alliance War, which is the mode that currently I care most about. For an AQ champion like Hercules, even though he's for war, he's for everything. He's like one of the top cosmics, if not the top cosmic in the game. Or because I like the champion design or aesthetic. And it's fun. It makes for great content. But let's get into that a little bit more. What makes buying Cavalier crystals fun? Knowing what I buy is what I get. What's not fun? Buying something and getting something else later. And this is a point that I'll have to expand on later in the video, so please bear with me. Now, let's quickly go into why I don't buy Cavs. I don't buy Cavs because a champion doesn't benefit my roster in any foreseeable way. I don't like the champion design because they will be balanced and not be what I bought in the future, which could be for any champ going forward as of March 2022. Because pulling a Max Sig 6-star gives me absolutely nothing, and in fact, it's more of a punishment versus a reward dynamic, and I'm getting tired of it. I've made suggestions in the past for Kabam to unlock some new abilities upon hitting Max Sig for 6 stars, and if they want to roll that out for 5 stars and below, or provide mythic or even beefier 6-star shards for Max Sig crystals. I mean, this really needs to get fixed ASAP. The last reason why I wouldn't buy Cavs is because I feel the game is dying and I don't want to invest money anymore. Now that you've heard both sides of why I would buy Cavs and why I don't and recently haven't been buying Cavs, I want to expand on my personal opinion on why I whale out in this game. So let's step back for a second. Let's keep it real. What makes me really want to whale out on a champion is if the champion, just from the deep dives or from the CCP gameplay footage, seems OP or honestly broken. I mean, the champion, once you get a very big roster, let's just say, a very developed, robust roster, you're looking for that next champion that is just kind of outdoes all the other champions you have, or provides some niche or very cool, useful utility that you don't already have in your account. Okay? That's what gets me going. And I'm sure for others, it's the absolutely same thing. So, with this new rating system that Kabam is introducing to pretty much balance every single champion that they're going to be putting out, or you know, maybe they may come out OP and then later they're going to be balanced because they do too much damage and they have too much utility. Why would I in the future whale out for a champion and buy $1,000, $2,000 worth of Cavalier crystals for something that there's no guarantee is going to be what I'm paying for? It makes absolutely zero sense. So let's just step back again. Towards the second half of 2021, after my massive Hercules Cav hunt, I opened honestly well over $5,000 in Hercules Cavalier crystals. I didn't upload every single crystal from that hunt onto the channel just because it just would have been way too long. But I do have 2 videos on the channel if you guys want to check that out. Check out my resume, you know, I'm legit. But just after that, I was like, wow, like when it came out that there were some bugs with him, quote unquote, or he wasn't working as intended, I'm like, wow, I really need to dial these hunts down just a little bit, just in case if this happens in the future, but whereas the bug ends up crippling the champion. Now they're pretty much outright telling us that, listen, we told you in advance that changes can happen to these champions, so you can't really complain if what you buy is totally different in however long it is. I believe it's 6 months. So yeah, so that, I mean, if that's the case, I don't see myself doing massive hunts for something that I'm not sure about. If you have cash to burn, and I'm, you know, as someone who's whaled out on this game, I've played for just a little over 2 years. I've spent well over $100,000 on the game. Honestly, if you have money to burn, I mean, you have money to burn, but there's a difference between buying something and spending outrageous amounts and getting what you spend for, or spending outrageous amounts and just for the heck of it, just because you can. So if you have just because you can money and that's what you want to do, by all means, go ahead and do that. Me personally, even if I do have the funds, I want what I spend my hard-earned money on to be what I get, okay? So I'm also saying this again, just kind of really to reach out. Hopefully Kabam can see this video and see at least one of their whales' perspective on what these changes can do. I know Seaton has talked about this video, this change, and he kind of was like, what the heck are you doing, Kabam? This is not good for the game. I know KT has talked on this, and quite a few other content creators have made videos expressing like, whoa, if this happens, maybe I'll just pick up the July 4th deals, but that's it. But in my case, I love this game. I do care about if this game would shut down tomorrow, and that's why honestly I forced myself to make this video, because listen, I don't care if this video gets 500 views or 5,000 views, as long as we can share it and Kabam can see it and they can really take a step back and be like, wait a second, this might not be the best thing for the game. So now let's flip the script for a quick second. Let's say if we paid Kabam in a currency that could be worth something today and worth totally less or be something different tomorrow. Do you think that they would allow that, or would that be a good business strategy? Absolutely not. So why do that to your customers? If you screw over your customers, you eventually screw yourself over. It's as simple as that. Now, you know, in the future, a champion that's highly desirable can be nerfed, toned down, completely changed, without any sort of monetary refund, which we know won't ever happen. Maybe at most they'll give like rank down gems and resources. It honestly removes whales like myself from wanting to spend at all in the game. And then the mentality of whaling when champs come out just turns into, okay, I'll just spend on the major holidays, or when you have amazing deals like Thronebreaker deals that come out. And then what ends up happening after that? You kind of miss the kick of spending on calves. And at what point does it then turn into like, well, I'll just spend on the sigil, then nothing at all. And then if that happens to enough whales, and if that happens to enough people, the game is not going to have enough money to sustain itself. So now let's get into why is the rating system a bad idea. The rating system, in my opinion, is a bad idea just because there are too many intricacies in the game, signature levels, synergies, etc., as well as future champ synergies and nodes that will to determine the utility and usefulness of it that a champion will have. You can't say, okay, this champion is going to always be this useful. So, for example, let's take Spiny 2099. I mean, he's going to be useful. His utility is absolutely amazing. His synergies with Anti-Venom and other champions are actually absolutely amazing. In Alliance War, he puts in work not just as a boss killer, but let's say if a new node comes out that negates the wither synergy that he has, and his reverse power gain and all these other things, and true strike is no longer on the boss node in Alliance War. His value, whether or not he's still an amazing champion, definitely goes down. So you can't, pretty much, in other words, the rating system is never going to be a set in stone thing. It's going to be a dynamic, moving parts type thing, and that's just more work for everyone who's involved to keep up with. So in my opinion, it's easier to limit or dial down on a new synergy that's introduced two champions into the game versus meddling with a champion's base kit. If you noticed, I haven't opened one cav for Sauron or Toad besides those from the early access bundles, which honestly I don't think I've even uploaded yet. And the same went for Icarus and Cersei. I mean, my last real Cavalier Crystal champion hunt was for Null. Now, let's kind of shift perspectives. You heard a little bit of my perspective as a whale perspective. And listen, I'm not the biggest whale out there. I didn't finish top 60 in gifting. I think I was top 70, top 75, something like that. Just because at one point I realized, listen, for the extra $1,500 that I'm going to have to spend, or $1,000 to get into the top 60, I mean, those difference in rewards, I could just spend that on spring cleaning. I could just spend that on the July 4th. So at that point, I'm like, listen, I'm comfortable where I am. I'm comfortable with the rewards that I'll get, in the top 75, the top 90, whatever. That's all good. I'm just happy to support the game. But for the free-to-play side, I'm not knocking those that enjoy Arena. Heck, recently, just as a test, I've tried doing some mini grinds myself while listening to podcasts or other shows or other videos on YouTube, and it was okay. However, for me personally, I don't see this as an activity that is sustainable. I've got a lot of work, I've got, family and whatnot that I've got to take care of, so it's just not sustainable for me. If you enjoy it, kudos to you. However, think about this. Your time is also highly valuable, and if you've spent 3 days grinding for a champ that later on doesn't do what was initially advertised, or you thought, or the reason you grinded for them, besides the fact of those who grind to just have every champ that they possibly can, okay, then that, if that's you, that's not going to change. But a lot of people who really put the time in, grind for a champion because they really want them, because of, they really like the champion, or because of the champion's abilities. So that's something to think of too. I mean, your time is really valuable, and time grinded as well as money spent, honestly, should yield what you grind and or spend for. That's the point of this video. And I just really think that Kabam ethically should not release something for money or even time spent that can be significantly changed, whether it's slightly, significantly, or not changed in the future. Okay, so what's the solution? In my opinion, Kabam has a CCP program for a reason. They should call upon and use the full force of the CCP members to test and showcase champions just a bit more extensively, and create some sort of voting system where if the champion seems too broken, too strong, or whatever it is, and then with that feedback, they can pass that along to Kabam, and Kabam's testing team can scale the champion down before they're released. Okay, and I believe Karate Mike said into the wild, before the champion's released into the wild, before everyone grinds and spends on it. And this way they're releasing a polished, tested, community tested CCP, member tested program. They can even have a server, which I believe they said they're going to be working on within that, a testing period, where people can hop on this beta server and test champions and stuff. This needs to be done, honestly, before a champion is released. Not release the champion, get all the hype, have people spending, and then make changes. This has to be done beforehand. So that's how I'm feeling. Let me know in the comments, guys. I know I've kind of been talking on a lot about this, but it's something very near and dear to my heart. I really feel like if Kabam makes a misstep on this, that the game is really gonna go in a direction where they're going to see people, at least myself, and I'm sure others are going to feel the same way. But again, that's up to anyone else, what they do with their time or their money. That's not on me. I'm not telling anyone what to do. This is just my personal opinion. But just in my opinion, I feel other people are really going to be like, wait a second, if this champion can get changed, I'm not going to spend $100. I'm not going to spend $500. I'm not going to spend $1,000. I'm not going to spend $5,000 on a Cavalier Crystal Hunt. So why bother? And that's really what you don't want to happen, because I'm sure Cav Crystals are a huge part of Kabam's revenue, besides obviously the holiday deals and other rare unicorn, once in a blue moon, amazing offers that come out. So what else besides that? I know Seaton mentioned something about improving the tagging system, perhaps bringing like an Aunt May style tags counter, kind of just a maybe more of a helpful section to the game. I think that's better than just this rating system, which is going to constantly have to be maintained. So I understand why Kabam is doing it, so they don't have to rebuff all of these new champions that they put out. That's a ton of work. But at the same time, this rating system itself is just going to be a ton of work to maintain and keep up with. So there's got to be a better way. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, what your opinions on what a better way could be. And also, just another thing I wanted to mention is what I see kind of going wrong with the economy of the game. It's honestly, a lot of people hated the greater gifting crystal event rewards. It was too crazy. Honestly, guys, keep in mind this was the first year it was really beefed up with the R4 stuff. Next year they'll probably keep it somewhat pretty similar, and in that case, what Kabam, as I also said, needs to do, they need to buff in-game rewards. They need to buff the Cavalier event quest rewards, or come out with a Thronebreaker version. That could get people very, very excited, and have those rewards buffed. Kabam really needs to, for Act 7.4 initial clear and Act 7 100%, really needs to make sure that they have a juicy amount of 6-star rank 4 materials, 6-star signature stones, or people are gonna get really pissed if you do all of this work, you spend all of this time, even units, even money to clear content, and the rewards are crap versus something you can just throw $100 at and not clear content. So Kabam really has the balance of paying versus playing completely out of whack right now. Again, I enjoy great offers. I enjoy, the holiday sales, but you gotta fix it a little bit so that the in-game rewards for playing the game are a bit more competitive with that, So that's what I feel. Let me know what you guys think. Let me share it on forums, share it with your Alliance members. And that's going to be it for this one, guys. Stay tuned. Let me know in the comments if you want to see my 2-year account tour where I show off everything with my account. Let me know in the comments if you made it that far. Put DEO account tour. I'll respond with a medal, and if I get enough feedback, I'll do an account tour. Well, hope you guys have been well. Missed you guys, and that'll be it for this one. I'll catch you in the next one. Damn Epic out. Peace.